Hey everybody, it's Vicky and welcome to our second What's the Math Wednesday. Last week we did special right triangles, specifically 45, 45, 90s. So this week we're going to do the 30, 60, 90s. So like I said in last week's, these numbers are representing the angle measures of the triangle. So in this case, it's a right triangle and the angles are 30, 60, and 90. So everything in this triangle is based off of the shortest side. Now, if you recall, the shortest side will always be opposite of the smallest angle. So because 30 degrees is the smallest value in 30, 60, and 90, the side opposite or across from the 30, will be the smallest side. So I've shown you here, I call it short, you can call it small, whatever, it's the same deal. So the 30 in this case is on the top, which means the base of the triangle is the shortest side. The 60 is on the bottom right, so that means the height of this triangle is the medium side. And then the hypotenuse, which is always the hypotenuse, is across from the right angle. So every value in this triangle is based off of that short side. I just wanted to show you what it would look like if the 30 and the 60 were switched. So if the 30 was the bottom right, then the short side would be the height. And if the 60 was the top angle, then the medium side would be the bottom. So again, all you're doing is finding an angle measure and going across the way. So again, the short side, which everything is based off of, will always be opposite or across from the 30-degree angle. So if you're given the short side, these problems are really, really easy. So if you're given the short side and you want to find the medium side, you simply multiply by radical 3. Like I said in last week's video, if the number you're multiplying with radical 3 is a non-radical value, say like the short side was like 5, then the medium length would be 5 radical 3, because you can't simplify any further when you're multiplying a non-radical value and a radical value. If your short side was another radical, say it was like radical 5, I'm making up stuff now, but if it was radical 5, you can actually simplify the two values because both numbers are in a square root. So radical 5 times radical 3 would be radical 15, and that would be the medium side. To get to the hypotenuse, you simply double the short side. So again, if the short side was 5, you'd have 10. If the short side was, radical 5, it would be 2 radical 5. Because again, you cannot simplify a non-radical value and a radical value. But if you are not given the short side, and you're given either the hypotenuse or the medium side, you have to solve for the short side first. So what that means is, say they gave you the hypotenuse and they wanted you to identify both the short and the medium, you have to find the short side first before you find the medium side, because there's no direct way to go from hypotenuse to medium. So if you're given the hypotenuse, all you do is divide by 2. If you're given the medium side, you divide by radical 3. And then you would have to rationalize. Remember, we talked about rationalizing in the last video. All you do is you multiply the top and the bottom by the radical that's in the bottom. So in this case, it would be radical 3. And perhaps we'll find an example. So let's see. This one has an answer on it. Okay, so in this case, they give us a 16 length and they ask us for X and Y. I included the answers immediately on it so that we can talk through it. So we know in this case, the short side is labeled with Y and the medium side is labeled with X. We know that because the 60 is in the bottom right corner. So across from that would be the X length. Even though the 30 is not written into the picture, we can assume that it's that left angle. Again, because if you've got a 90 and a 60-degree angle in a right triangle, the last angle has to be 30 degrees because the triangle itself has to equal 180 degrees. So what you would want to do first is solve for the short side which again is y. So hypotenuse divided by 2 is the short, so 16 divided by 2 is 8, so y is 8. And then what you'd want to do is take that value, so since y is 8 and y is the short side, you would multiply by radical 3 to get to the middle or the medium length. So 8 times radical 3 can't be simplified any further, so it's literally 8 radical 3. So y is 8, x is 8 radical 3. Okay, example 2. All right, in this case, they give us a side length that's 12. If you look at the picture, the 60-degree angle is not written in. Now, we can assume that the 60-degree angle is the top right one because, again, triangles have to be 180 degrees. If you've got a 90-degree angle and a 30-degree angle, then the missing angle has to be 60. And that would be the angle across from the 12. So that means that what they provided you with is the medium length. So we would have to divide 12 by radical 3 in order to get the short side, which in this case is y, because y is opposite of the 30 degrees, and we know that the hypotenuse is x. So you'd have to solve for y first, and then once you have y's value, you can use that to solve for x. So 12 divided by radical 3. We need to rationalize in this case. You can't directly simplify because the 12 is not inside of a radical. So you would multiply 12 divided by radical 3 with radical 3 over radical 3. That's known as rationalizing. The top would become 12 radical 3. The bottom would become square root of 9, which equals 3. So at that point, we would have 12 radical 3 over 3. And then you would be able to simplify the 12 in the top of the fraction and the 3 in the bottom of the fraction, and it would provide us with 4 radical 3. So that's the value of the short side. Now, to go from short to hypotenuse, you would just double it. Now, the only value you can actually double is the 4 in front because you're multiplying by 2, and you can't multiply a non-radical value with a radical value. So 4 radical 3 times 2 would just be 8 radical 3. Okay. And then our last example. In this case, you see the 30-degree angle. What's opposite of that is 2, which means to us that the short side is 2. So they want us to identify the hypotenuse, which is u, and the medium side, which is v. Again, that would be across from the 60 if that was written in. So 2 times 2, which is how you go from short to hypotenuse, is you take the short and you multiply by 2, would be 4. So u is 4. And to go from short to medium, you would take the short value and multiply by radical 3. So v's value would be 2 radical 3. All right, now I'm going to give you guys 3 problems to do on your own, and then later I will make another video explaining those problems. So here is problem number 1. So in problem number 1, one of the side lengths is 8 radical 5. I'm not going to tell you which one that is, and they are asking you to solve for x and y. So remember, if you are not provided with the short side as your given information, that is the one you would want to solve for first. And again, the short side is across or opposite of the 30-degree angle. So in this case, the 30 degrees is not written into the picture, but again, you can assume that that top right angle is a 30-degree angle. Okay. Problem number 2. And guys, if you need to pause this to copy these problems or do these problems, go for it. Number 2, they provide you with a side length that's 11 radical 3. They want you to solve for the lengths of A and B. And again, remember the missing angle you can assume is one of the numbers that's missing from our 30, 60, 90. So in this case, you see a 30-degree angle and the right angle, which is 90. So we know that the bottom angle is a 60-degree angle. And again, just a reminder, if the short side is not provided to you, that is the one you have to solve for first. Okay, problem number 3. In problem number 3, you are giving a side that says 2 radical 2. You need to solve for A and B. You can see that one angle is marked 60 degrees, the other angle is a right angle, so you can assume the top angle is 30 degrees. And as I said before in the last 2 weeks practice problems, if you are not provided with the short side, you must solve for that first. So I hope that this lesson was interesting, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Or if you have any topics you'd like me to go over, that'd be cool too. Have a great evening, and look out for my answers. Okay, bye guys.